Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon and was posted on the billboard showing the time and place of the meeting. Will everyone please rise to salute the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1, setting the 2020 budget meeting
Well,
dates.
I'm all ready to go with the budget, guys, so I'm throwing my potential schedule out there. You can see it on the page that I sent you, so I would love to start the 5th Thursday of this month on January 30th. Get the police in and police out, and then go the opposite Thursdays of our township meetings, as I have it laid out on the schedule here. And hopefully, if we can finalize the budget on March 5th, we can introduce on March 12th with a public hearing on April 9th, and if the state grants me to do that, and we will have our budget in place by mid-April.
So I'm with you, Veronica. Hit the ground running.
I'm ready to
So
go.
you're thinking the 30th, and what other dates?
Pick up your page.
He's new.
He's new on this, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Yeah, he now has to work for himself, instead of have somebody work for him when he was mayor, right? It's the opposite Thursdays of our regular meetings, so you guys will be here with me every Thursday from now until March. If that fits
I'm good
into
with
everyone's
these.
schedule. And 5:30 is a good time to start? I know
Yes.
Pete,
Yep,
your
we're
work
good.
is.
We're good.
But yeah, I thought 5:30 was a good time for you.
We're working for
And
the
normally, Mr. Attorney, we don't make the attorney sit through these grueling budget meetings, but you're more than welcome to if you wanted to, but you don't have to.
All right. Yeah, I'm good with these.
All right, so I will advertise, I will notify, I already notified the chief that that was his tentative date, because sometimes he schedules something on me, but I will get this all in place and notify all the
More
departments.
confident, aren't you?
Okay. Item 2,
Yeah, I was.
request for street opening on Lower Boulevard to hook up with New Jersey Gas.
Well, as you all know, we received $500,000 from the state of New Jersey to pave Laurel Boulevard from Basin Road down to Newport Bay Club. And lo and behold, we did do the paving in August, and now I have this road opening request and a second one coming in that wants to hook up to gas. And we have a 3-year moratorium in our code book that says you cannot open the road for 3 years. We do have exceptions to it as long as they do restore it in the manner that we see fit, which I did provide that to you in your packet tonight. I'm just very upset that I'm gonna have 2 openings, one in the 500 block and one in the 1000 block, because then we can see what New Jersey Natural Gas did to the front part of Laurel Boulevard on us.
Were these houses notified that the paving?
Yes, everybody was notified that one house has, the house that we're talking about here, 1012, flipped to 3 different LLCs from the moment it was sold in foreclosure. It was like flipped and flipped and flipped in LLCs and rehabbed, and now they're ready to either one, rent it out or sell it. And the other one is a gentleman who's been building his house since 2018 that is now just hooking up to gas. I don't really think we can prevent them from doing that. We can just make sure that they go the extra step. But it just does grate on my nerves that, we sent out the notices in June.
So, our statute says what?
3-year moratorium.
3-year moratorium from the date of
Are there-
acceptance by the, unless such road is restored in 2 stages, and we have the 2-stage process here.
And there's no exceptions to that?
No, there's exceptions.
What are the exceptions?
Well, no, they do have to restore it in accordance with what our
Right.
rules are, so, but we can, I don't know how you would say
Do
no.
they
I
have
mean,
to, they
just-
have to post a bond for that?
Yes, they do have to post a bond for that.
As long as they post a bond that covers it, if we have to go back in, I see no problem with it. We've got the money to fix it if they don't fix it to our liking.
Good? Good.
And this lady here, this Mark Stern here, did say that they will repave it from curb to curb if I want them to do a complete overlay instead of just the 3x3 that they open up. So we could take a look at that at that time, depending on how much they beat it up.
As long as they put the bond up that covers our work in the event
Yeah,
that they fail.
usually they do oversee it. It just grates on my nerves that this
I
is
get it.
happening.
Item 3, draft ordinance changes.
Yeah, we'll take a motion in a second. Anybody want to make one?
Move it. Second.
All in favor?
Draft ordinance changes, towing ordinance.
Okay, I provided to you the actual chapter of our towing, in storage. In there, anything that's highlighted, anything that's bolded in italics is the stuff that we're adding. I did strike out the items that we're deleting. I know the chief is anxious to get this on the books. Mr. Giuliano did meet with the chief to go over it and to tighten a few things up, and this is what they came up with. So I would just like to have this drafted and then done for first reading at our next meeting. Is everybody on board with it?
The fees are,
The fees are basically in line with what the other municipalities are charging. We were extremely low because we haven't changed our towing ordinance since, I think 1992, maybe a few amendments in '04, but we never
1990.
changed the fees.
1990.
Yeah.
So it's
You
been a
just want
while.
briefly, how did this come about, or why do you want to?
Well, the chief has been asking for some changes because we have a large influx of contractors that want to come on our towing list. So it spreads it very thin, and the response time, even though it's 20 minutes, we're having problems. Like if you call the 8th guy on the list, he's like 30 minutes down the road, but to get them off, it's not fine. So he wants to cap the list at 6 and restrict it to the 20 minutes call time, and then of course raise the fees in accordance with what's more acceptable in the county, because some of these people are leaving their cars there for forever, not picking them up, and they're not cars that are anybody wants, yeah, and they're getting stuck with them.
these fees puts us where, middle, bottom, top?
It puts us equal, it really puts us equal. And then we're also asking for these towing contractors to provide us with an application fee every 2 years of $500, because we do background checks on those individuals that are driving for these companies.
Need a motion?
So just a motion to draft the ordinance.
Move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn, ready to adjourn? Forget the word.
Yeah, we're gonna adjourn this meeting and go right into township, because we don't need to go
Motion
into
to adjourn.
executive.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to the public laws of 1975. Said notice was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon and was posted on the bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. Will everyone please rise to salute the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First reading of ordinance 2020-01, authorizing utility easement on Clearwater Drive.
In order to the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the conveyance of a utility easement between Block 218, Lot 6, and Block 218.01, Lot 6.01, for an electrical line in a portion of Clearwater Drive in accordance with NJSA 48:12-13B4. As you recall, we had talked about this several meetings ago with regards to the gentleman who lives on Clearwater Drive, and that's one of those streets that has water access across the street. He wants to hook up electric there, so we are making him get an easement so that it's properly marked on the maps. God forbid should the road be torn up, that it will be marked on there properly. Can I have a motion, please?
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes, first reading of ordinance 2020-02, setting the salaries for various positions.
An ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, amending an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, affixing and determining the salaries, wages, and compensation of the officers, employees, and members of the governing body of the township. We have two positions that we share services with, the tax assessor and the chief financial officer. We allow Tuckerton to utilize our tax assessor and Pine Beach to utilize our chief financial officer. So in order to be in compliance with state law, that the salaries that we pay them with the reimbursement from the other towns, we have to have a salary ordinance in place. So this is for the tax assessor's position and the chief financial officer position. And a tax assessor, I have to reflect it for 2019, since he had started with them then.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes, first reading of ordinance 2020-03, setting the salaries for the police dispatchers for 2019.
An ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, amending an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, affixing and determining the salaries, wages, and compensation of the officers, employees, and members of the governing body of the township. This is a one-year extension of the police dispatchers contract. It was a 2% increase and an additional $100 increase on their cleaning and clothing allowance. And again, it has already since expired, because it was only for 1 year.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes, resolution 2020-53,
You're right.
amending the contract for the public defender to add alternates.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, amending the contract with the law offices of Christopher J. Dasty as public defender to add Joseph C. Falk and Jeffrey D. Cheney as additional alternate public defenders. In accordance with the regulations of the AOC, you have to have all members of your firm added if they were going to do any work, either for prosecutor work or public defender. And Mr. Dasty has taken on 2 new associates, and at the time of the RFPs, they were not with him, so I just need to amend the contract.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Abstain.
Yes, that's right. Mr. Juliano?
I abstain.
And Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Resolution 2020-54, amending the local government policies and procedures manual to reflect the domestic violence policy.
A resolution of the Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing amendments to the local government personnel policies and procedures manual and the employee handbook for the Township of Lacey. Last year, the state of New Jersey adopted policy with regards to public employers and domestic violence policy. So we need now to have such a policy on the books and appoint a point person from the municipality that would act on behalf of the employees. Obviously, if they have a problem, they can come to us, and we have to, again, get them help and services, and then at times also reach out to the police if need be. So I'm just putting policy in place and on the books.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Excuse me.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Resolution 2020-55, appointing a substitute school crossing guard.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, appointing school crossing guards for the Township of Lacey. This is a substitute on an as-needed basis. It's Carol Schultz.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Resolution 2020-56, appointing a Class 2 special officer.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, appointing a Class 2 special law enforcement officer, and he served with us before, and he did go into the ROTC program. He is back, and his name is Timothy Swain.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Resolution 2020-57, authorizing the execution of a grant agreement for the stormwater mapping grant.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with the Department of Environmental Protection for the municipal stormwater mapping. We were awarded $70,000 last year. We only applied for 69. The state gave us 70, so we have to redo all the paperwork for the $1,000. So that's what this is tonight.
Welcome to government.
Tax dollars.
Second.
Wisely used.
Who made the motion, Pete? Did you?
Sure.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Resolution 2020-58, authorizing the assessor to file assessor's appeals.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the tax assessors to file an assessor's appeal to correct certain errors made on assessments for the year 2020, and authorizing the tax assessor as agent in filing petition of appeals and rollback complaint forms. This is the normal paperwork that we do for the assessor to adjust the records on an as-needed basis due to errors.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Resolution 2020-59, authorizing the cancellation of taxes for a disabled veteran.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the tax collector to cancel 2019 taxes due on a property granted the 100% disabled veterans exemption and refund the resulting credit balance. This is on Block 938, Lot 9.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Yes. Resolution 2020-60, authorizing the refund of deposits.
Resolution to Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the refund of deposits held for the use of municipal facilities.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Resolution 2020-61, authorizing the payment of township bills.
Resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the payment of township bills in the amount of $5,504,069.25.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas.
Yes. Monthly reports.
Okay, let me get to them. Municipal Clerk's Office for the month of December collected receipts in the amount of $3,512.71. Recycling Department collected receipts in the amount of $919 for December. Road opening permits in the amount of $8,505. truck parking in the amount of $3,113. And for the month of December, the Department of Community Development collected receipts in the amount of $62,632. Motion to accept the reports is read.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve township meeting minutes of December 30th, 2019.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve township meeting minutes of January 1st, 2020.
Move it.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve caucus meeting minutes of December 30th, 2019.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Add-ons?
Yes, I have quite a few, which I did hand out to you guys on the dais here. First is resolution number 63. It's a resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing the execution of a contract with the Lacey Township Crossing Guard Association. We do have a union with the crossing guards. Theirs is pretty plain and simple, since they were making less than the minimum wage that is as of today's date. I set their contract from January 1st of 2020 to December 31st of 2024 to reflect the minimum wage, to get them right up to the $15 by 2024.
Move it.
So I just need a motion on that.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
And Mayor Kennas?
Yes.
Next is resolution, was that 63? 64. It's a resolution of Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, appointing Michael Michelli as a regular member to the Lacey Municipal Utilities Authority. The effective date would be his appointment on February 1st of 2020, and it expires January 31st of 2025.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
And Mayor Kennas?
Yes.
And the next one is number 65. It's a resolution of the Township of Lacey County of Ocean State of New Jersey, authorizing the appointment of Lauren Stager of the firm of Rothstein, Mandel, Strom, Halm, and Cipriani as special legal counsel for the Township of Lacey. This is to finish up about 2 or 3 files that we have related to property transfers and for the code book recodification and any other matters that the Township Committee would want to assign as the year goes through.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas?
Yes.
And then the final one to add on is the ordinance for the crossing guard salaries. Ordinance 2020-04, it's an ordinance of the Township of Lacey County of Ocean State of New Jersey, amending an ordinance entitled an ordinance of the Township of Lacey County of Ocean State of New Jersey, affixing and determining the salaries, wages, and compensation of the officers, employees, and members of the governing body of the township. As stated, this is for the crossing guards from 2020 to 2024 for their salaries. So, motion?
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
And Mayor Kennas?
Yes.
And that is all I have to add on.
Comments from the committee. Deputy Mayor Kuratello.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Just wanted to welcome folks in the audience here tonight and welcome our reconfirmed member, Mr. Michelli, to the Municipal Utilities Authority. MUA does a fine job. We have in this governing body, a good relationship with them. So again, I want to say welcome and look forward to your term and the rest of the good work that that board does. I wanted to report to the people this evening that I did meet with the Chief of Police earlier in the week. If memory serves, today was the day some residents have been asking about body cameras on the police. Today was the day that the company was supposed to come and do some training. The Chief, DeBella, in his office had showed me the body cams. It's an amazing magnet that affixes to the officer's clothing. There are a couple of different earpieces. It's a strong system, and it's not new in this state. So more and more of the departments, for many and varied reasons, and including the protection of the officers, are having this now, and they're engaged with it. I'm excited by it. The chief, by law, is going to have to post something either on the Facebook page or laceytownship.org informing residents when these cameras are in full use and full swing. But it is very encouraging, and we have a superlative police department. It is for the safety of the officers, and it's for the benefit of the residents. So I believe, and after talking to a lot of law enforcement professionals in many different departments, that this is a good idea. So I'm pleased, and that's the majority of my comments tonight, and I look forward to the chief really bringing, as he always does, educating our folks in town, as he always does with the olive branch out in our schools, with the officers that are in our schools now. So this is an enhancement, this is a value add to an already great department, along with all of our other employees, and I'll close with these comments tonight. It's because of our employees and department heads that we have the township that we do. Budgets are coming up, as I always say here, for the last 6 years, budgets are never easy. But each and every one of our department heads, I encourage the town to come out and listen to. Our administrator had mentioned those dates. They're really telling, and they're educational, and they're formal presentations, and people have opportunity to question the heads and justify their budgets, as we do, because we know it's your money. But they do a great job with it. They make us look good. We take the bows. They do the work. And thank you again, everyone, for the time tonight, Mayor, and I'll conclude my comments.
Thank you, Pete. Committeeman Giuliano?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, Mr. Michelli, I'd like to congratulate you for your appointment back to the MUA. I know you'll do a fine job, as well as I know the rest of the commissioners and the chairman do up there. Really, first of all, today, I would like to say, today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. As I'm thankful that we have this day, this should be something that we should appreciate every day with all the law enforcement people out there. As I come from, I've said many times, I come from a law enforcement family because I had a mother that was first chief of police in the state of New Jersey. So, Mom, thank you very much for all your years of service and everything you've taught me. A big thank you to our Lacey Township Police Department. As I said many times, it's bar none, I would say, the best there is in the state of New Jersey. Definitely the best in Ocean County, I think, and probably ranks the top in the state of New Jersey. I also just wanted to say thank you to our servicemen and women. We stand tall for you, and we keep you in our thoughts and prayers all the time for everything that's going on in the world today. And God bless all of them, and God bless all the residents and people in Lacey Township. Thank you very much, Mayor. That's it.
Thank you, Nick. Committeeman Dykoff?
Thank you very much. Well, I want to echo all the sentiments and congratulate Mr. Michelli for being reappointed. It's well-deserved. Known you for a lot of years. Nothing but respect for you, and congratulations. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Committeeman McDonald?
I too congratulate Mr. Michelli on his appointment. MUA is an outstanding program or authority. They do an outstanding job for our residents here, and hopefully they'll continue that. Couple of things here. 150th is the 2021, so we're starting now. So if anybody wants to volunteer with that, please get on the Facebook or the webpage and send your stuff into Veronica, because we need to get moving on that. It's only 11 months away before we start the activities, so we've got a lot of work cut out in front of us. We've got to get that done. The extension on the rail trail road, hopefully, if the weather holds out, they can stripe that. That's the extension up to Musket. Will be open this weekend. If we can get some warm weather, they can stripe it. If not, as soon as they get some warm weather, we'll get the striping down, and away we go. Also, summer camp, we've had to raise the rates on summer camp for the kids significantly. I think it's in the 170 area right now. But what we've done is made arrangements so that you can pay on a monthly basis, so that it's not all big shot. If you got a couple of kids coming in and you got to pay that amount of money, you can start paying on it now. Any questions, just give our recreation department a call. You can go online and start it and get that done. 5G, I think Mayor Kennis and I were at a meeting, I think before the holiday? Yes. With the 5G. It's coming. It's going to be a pain in the butt. No question about that. These things got to be about 50 feet in the air. They're about the size of a pizza box. And there's some places in Lacey where our utilities are underground. So what they got to do, they got to put them on the street lights, which is not going to make it look too good. So this is something that's coming. there's nothing we can do about it, so we're going to work on that as we go forward. And the last Harrington Group video is up.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's seen it. I think it's very good. They do great work, and that's in anticipation of the 150th. So just check it out. There's been a lot of comments made on it, so I just wanted to bring that to anybody's attention.
Were you nominated for a Golden Globe or anything for that, or what?
Maybe the worst actor in the world, but that's,
I always heard that the camera added 10 pounds. It looked like he was 10, 15 pounds thinner.
well, I am now, because I'm not sitting in the middle seat.
Oh, now it's,
But I also want to talk a little bit about the Iraq-Iran thing. You know, this is dangerous world. This world has got a whole lot more dangerous, and we got to stand tall with this. And you know, people don't realize that Iran actually declared war on the United States 40 years ago, when we let the Shah of Iran go. And I think it's about time we stood up to this little punk country and do something. And I don't want to see any of our servicemen hurt in any way, shape, or form, but enough's enough, and let's just go kick their butts. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Tim. What do I want to say? It's just a reminder to everybody that our meetings are starting a half hour early, 6:30. Sparse crowd tonight. I want to congratulate Mike Michelli on his reappointment. And I just want to remind everybody that our MUA this year or last year lowered rates. Sewer rates, water rates, what was it? This year, next year, 2020?
Keep going.
Which one was it?
It started in 2019
through 19 and 20. So I just want to commend them on the great job that they do managing our water and sewer bills. And finally, if you don't like the answers you're getting here, you can come yell at me at the library where I will be continuing to meet the mayor on Tuesdays
Does that
at
include me?
5:30.
I can come yell at you?
Is that right? Tuesdays, 5:30?
The second Tuesday of the month at 5:30, yes.
Yeah, not every Tuesday. Certainly not every Tuesday.
No.
I'll be there this Tuesday. I have some things I need to talk to you about.
Yeah, it'll be all four of you guys. And that's all I have. I'll open it up to the public. Any comments from the public?
I'd like to make one comment.
Okay.
Is it necessary to
Yeah, you gotta come up.
Yes.
Okay, Jim Doler, 100 Carriage Road, Forked River. First of all, Mr. Mayor and the rest of the committee, I really want to thank you and I appreciate the appointment of Mike back on the board for a 5-year term. Mr. Giuliano knows exactly the contribution he makes as our finance chairman to our board. We're in great financial shape, and part of that, or a great part, that's due to Mike Michelle, this man sitting right here. So I want to thank you very much. Good man, deserves a spot. A couple of real quick points. One to you, Mr. Curvatola, about the body cameras. The one thing I think you're really going to find, appreciate, and Chief DeBell is going to appreciate this, the incidents of internal complaints against your police officers is going to radically be reduced. Because the people who lie and make up stories continually about law enforcement are going to now on camera. Kind of difficult.
Yeah, we're very fortunate we don't get many of them, but the ones that we get are always unfounded, and this will definitely help that.
And this will really, your unfounded ratio will
Yes.
increase dramatically. We found that in the state
Yeah,
police over the
and it
years.
saves a lot of time on the officers that have to do the IAs.
And if I could
Senator
comment,
Connors, you can attest to that because you see that all the time, especially in the state police.
Mr. Nola, if I could comment one time, for our residents that may not know, Mr. Nola is a retired state policeman, somebody I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I'm sorry, I don't know what your rank was, but you're...
I retired as lieutenant. My son has a higher rank than I do. He reminds me of that all the time.
So it runs in the family.
Dad, did I mention that? I can see
He
that.
continually reminds us. Matter of fact, he did about 20 minutes ago before he came. Committee McDonald, I happened to watch your video on Facebook today on the economic development, the whole approach. I thought it was very good. I think the only thing I'd like to add to that, if you don't mind, is that in the future, if we do one of those things, I wish you'd remember a little bit of the west of the Parkway too, because the agro-business we have out there and the equestrian centers we have out there, I think is a great asset.
That's a
to this
great
town.
point, and that's definitely something we'll work
It's
on.
not something that we didn't think of it.
And the only thing I can tell you about now, we're including Argos Farm, obviously, we have thousands of people now that are taking part in those festivities and those lessons and those programs every year now. And I think that's a positive asset to our township.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a positive thing, and something to consider in the future. But I thought it was very good, by the way, Tim. I thought it was-
We got lucky with them, with the Harrington.
Yeah.
We did.
I encourage anybody outside of Nick to ever attend our meetings. Our meetings are generally quick and fast in the MUA because we have everything pretty much in order. We look forward to working very closely with the Township Committee, as we always do. We will support you in any endeavors that we possibly can, and I appreciate that be reciprocated to us as well. And again, I just want to thank you for your consideration. I think we have a good board. I think you have a great committee, and hopefully we'll work well together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Senda.
Regina DeSenza, Sunset Drive, Sunrise Beach. I would like to congratulate Mr. Michelli as well. For the past 15 years, I've been one of the sole member of the public attendees of LMUA meetings, and I do have to say, it is one of the most well-run entities in this
There you go.
town.
That's the
These
word.
guys are so financially on the ball. I have actually learned about investments from them. That's how good they are. Also, I missed the first 5 minutes of the caucus meeting. Do you have the budget dates, may I have?
It's the opposite Thursdays of our township meetings, so we're starting January 30th.
First and third then.
Yes, and I have it scheduled all the way through March 5th, I think I said,
First and third Thursdays, what time?
5:30.
5:30.
So it will be January 30th, February 6th, February 20th, and March 5th, if I need March 5th, but I might.
January 30th, February 6th,
February 20th and March 5th,
20th, and March.
all at 5:30.
Right, okay. I'm just trying to write as fast as you talk. It's not that easy.
That's impossible.
I'll have them posted as well.
I do talk fast too, but if you haven't seen the video of the January 6th reorg of the BOE, you might want to watch it.
All right.
Thank you.
Regina. Anybody else?
Seeing none, motion to close the floor.
Second.
And then we need to do the
All in
private
favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
Move it.
We do the private resolution first?
Oh,
Or, yeah. Resolution number 62, resolution Township of Lacey County, Ocean State, New Jersey, authorizing convening of executive session to discuss matters of personnel and anticipated pending litigation.
Move it.
Second.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. Dykoff?
Yes.
Mr. Juliano?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas?
Yes.
Now you can ask for a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
We will not be able to make any other further decisions.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.
How you like that?